Hey guys, what's up? I got another deck profile here I want to share with you guys, and in this one specifically, we're going to be talking about Granblue. Now, Granblue finally made its amazing return, I guess you could say, with Set 6, Transcension of Blade and Blossom. But to be real honest, to me, Granblue has finally gotten the respect it deserves, because I know a lot of people, there's especially one person at my locals, his name is Zane, and he is always played Granblue, and I always have applauded him for that because it was a clan that barely had next to no support. It always was like the last clan in line to get some new stuff, and he always stuck by it. He never gave up on it. And the fact that Bushiroad finally gave Granblue some love, they gave him a trial deck, they gave him new support, they gave him new G units, and they gave him a new Perfect Guard. They finally can be played, and they're actually seeing a lot of success in the Bushiroad Spring Fests that are going on right now. For those of you that have asked, yes, my team and we will be returning to the tournament scene. We will be at the Austin tournament, which is the second weekend of June, so we look forward to seeing you guys there. So if you see us, make sure you come up and say hi, hang out with us. We always like to meet you guys and hang out and see old friends and meet new people, so don't be shy, we don't bite. So thank you very much for your continued support. We look forward to seeing you there. If you're going to be in Austin, please come find us. So I know some people were asking me if I was going to be building Granblue, and to be real honest, I always liked Granblue, but when Granblue did make its appearance, there were so many other decks that I just liked better. I had an appreciation for Granblue, but it wasn't enough to make me want to build them, because there were just better decks out there. And I know that might make me sound like a little bit like a bandwagoner, but I'm not. I've always been a huge fan of Granblue. I'm sorry, guys, if you've watched my channel long enough, you know I love dragons. And around that time, there were a lot of dragons, so I kind of ran towards the dragons, so sorry, I have a weakness. So anyway, this is my version of the deck. It is by any means the best version out there. It's just the version I like to play. Granblue is... I am confident when I say, guys, I will never play Granblue in a level 2 tournament event. So if there are people that are going to start whispering, he might be playing Granblue at Austin, there is zero chance of that happening. I will just go ahead and give you that piece of information right there. This is mainly just for fun. It is a lot of fun to play. And it's pirates. Who doesn't like pirates, right? So anyway, let's get right into this deck profile. So for the starting Vanguard, we are playing Undying Departed Granichi? Granichi? No idea. I call him Zane because he actually looks a lot like my friend Zane if he took that hat off. So pretty much this deck is just... all it is, it's what Granblue's known for. It just speeds the deck up a whole lot. Oh crap, 1 second, guys, this deck is weirdly out of order. I am so sorry. But, anyway, guys, I know a lot of you have been asking me questions about this. People were saying, how well competitively do you think Granblue will do? Do you think they'll be, one of the main decks that are being played? And the answer to those questions is absolutely. Granblue has come back, or I guess we could say finally arrived in the main meta scene, because now they have so many ways to just wreck their opponent, because they have so many ways to just combo off multiple attacks. And who doesn't like multiple attacks, right? They've even seen a couple of tops in the Springfest tournaments going on right now, or the qualifications for nationals, whatever you want to call them. So, I mean, it's really cool to see, actually. I always like seeing new decks get some love, get some support, and it's really cool to see. It's honestly really cool. I mean, you're always going to see your paladins, you're always going to see your shadow paladins, obviously, mainly. You're always going to see your dragons. But I don't know, maybe it sounds a little bad. I just like to see a little variety. And Like, just recently, there was someone who placed, I think it was in the Euro League in Australia, and they placed first with Nubatama. You know, whoever that guy was, you know, kudos to him. Nubatama, I mean, I don't think they've ever seen a top. I might be wrong on that, so do not hold me to that. But you know, it's nice to see Granblue's getting some spotlight, shall we say. But enough about that. So, obviously, Granichi has the Hollow ability, which is special to the Granblue the Granblue clan. Obviously, whenever he is placed on the rear guard, you have the option to make him hollow, and if you do, he dies in the end phase. But like all the new Granblue units that have the hollow ability, you gain some sort of ability if you hollow them. His specifically is Generation Break 1. If you hollow him in the end phase, when he retires due to the hollow ability, if he was hollowed, I know that's a mouthful, you get to countercharge 2. So you get to unflip 2 damage, and this is extremely helpful because this deck counterblasts a lot and multiple times every turn. So this starter, which you can continuously bring back every other turn, just continually lets you reuse your damage. So who doesn't like that, right? And he's a solid 5k boost, so until you do crack off that skill, which normally you're going to kill him off by calling something over and then call him right back to use that skill, he at least serves as a good boosting unit. So for our triggers, we play our 4 Rough Seas Banshee. So Rough Seas Banshee got her reprinted artwork, and she looks absolutely gorgeous. Her ability is when she's on the rear guard, shove her in the soul, draw a card. So if you need a little more draw power, she'll help you out. 4 copies of Jimmy the Ghosty for our second critical trigger. I play 4 copies of Hungry Mimic, or as I call him, Man-Eating Treasure Chest. If you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh! And you ever saw that card, it was a treasure chest that had teeth, and it was eating a monster, like, on the card. I just always thought that was kind of funny. But, you know, this is an opinion. You know, a lot of you are probably going to put in the comments section, why don't you play the stand trigger? And you know what? That's fine. I don't like the stand trigger just because it messes with, I don't know. I tried it out and it just didn't fit me. So if the stand trigger fits you, now if you're playing the 7 Seas variant of Granblue, then yes, play it in that one. But in this one, I don't think it's necessary. Now, for those of you who are saying, well, draw triggers thin the deck, and this deck already thins itself hard enough, is that bad? No, because Granblue now, it is so control-heavy thinning. Once you get the cards that are needed in the drop zone, you stop. So, I mean, yeah, maybe you'll mill a trigger here or there, but don't go crazy with the milling. I like the extra hand size, which is why I play draw triggers. And for the last one, we play, obviously, our Good Luck Charm Banshee for our heal triggers. We always play heal triggers because we're good players, and they are needed in every deck. So, and more so will be even when the G-Zone goes to 16, and we need them for our G-Guardians. So, Grade 1s. Obviously, we are playing 4 copies of our G-Guardian, who is known as Waterspout Jin. Finally, Granblue got their reprinted Perfect Guard, like all the dedicated Granblue players have been screaming about for maybe 3 years. So it is so nice to finally see them get their new Perfect Guard, and honestly a really cool looking one. He kind of looks like the old one, just a different take on him. So it has the same effect all of the Perfect Guard Gs have. Whenever he's used to guard, if there's another copy of himself in the drop zone, you can unflip a damage. So that's good. Next, we play 4 copies of our Stride Enabler, who's known as Tommy the Ghosty Brothers. So these little green misfits, I guess you could say, they're pretty essential to the deck because this deck strides a lot. That's where it gets most of its power play from. And you can also use it to search out your Night Rose, which is obviously what this deck revolves around. So, next we play 2 copies of Witch Doctor of Powdered Bone, Negro Bone. So, Negro Bone's skill is Generation Break 1. At the end of the battle, that it boosted a unit on the rear guard. If you have a Night Rose Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, retire the unit in front of her, and then call something else from the drop zone and get another attack off. So that's good. The reason we only play 2 is because it's searchable. Keep in mind, since you can search things out, you can play fewer and more options. Because in a deck that lets you search out whatever you want, and essentially since the drop zone to Granblue is an extension of your hand, it just gives you more options. Next we play 2 Head Start Zombie. Head Start Zombie is just kind of like another outlet to maybe search your deck and mill out that 1 card you're missing. If you don't need that, when you call him, just mill the top card of your deck. It's not really that big of a cost or big of a problem. Next, we play our last grade 1, which is our 2 copies of Sea Strolling Banshee. There are some people who play 3 or even max out on this card, and I don't understand why. Because you're not going to maintain a big enough soul to kick off the main card that you're going to be using, which we'll be seeing in a minute, and using this as well. Sea Strolling Banshee, whenever she's brought back from the drop zone, you Soul Blast 1 and you draw a free card. I use her mainly when I'm using a stride that's not King Boo, as I call him, or Night Rose. That's when she's best, but other than that, I wouldn't play any more than 2. Because again, remember, if you really want her, you can search her out, throw her in the drop zone, and then bring her back whenever you need her. For grade 2s, we play 3 copies of Witch Doctor of Langor, Negro Lazy. I don't know what Bushy Road was thinking when they made this card, but you know, it's a pretty stupid card actually for Granblue and when we're being realistic and we're not thinking about the racist meaning that this card can have. But anywho, whenever this unit is placed on the rear guard, you can make him hollow. If you do make him hollow, which generally you're going to do, you're going to counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and then bring out any unit from the drop zone. I think it's any unit. Nope, it's a grade 2 or less, and that unit will gain plus 2,000 power, and that unit will also gain the skill of when it is retired due to the hollow ability, you will get to Soul Charge 1 and Counter Charge 1, so whatever unit you call is pretty much going to unflip the damage that you paid and replace the soul you paid. So, in a way, he's completely free. So there's really no downside to playing him. Next, I play 3 copies of Ruin Shade. Here come the screams, "This card's not needed anymore!" I like it for early game mill. That is it. Once I get the cards in the drop zone that I need, I don't use his skill. He is in here as a way to create an early game push to get the cards that you want in the drop zone. That's the only reason he's in here. Maybe I'll drop him to 2, but to be real honest, I don't really see the point of. He's fine because if I can call 2 of these out on my second turn, I love it. That's just me. Next, I play 3 copies of Witch Doctor of the Rotten Seas, Negro Rook. Negro Rook is absolutely amazing. It is by far the best Generation Break 11k attacker or of that variant that there is. If Generation Break 1, whenever he attacks, he gains plus 2,000 power. When he is called to the field, you may make him hollow. If he's hollow, he gains an additional 5,000 power when he attacks. So, if you make him hollow and you bring him back, he can swing for 16 by himself. And when he's attacking 16 to an 11k Vanguard, that is a 10k drop, which is really good at no cost, which is absolutely insane and so helpful. So, then, probably my favorite little techie card for this deck is 2 copies of Skeleton Cannoneer. Cannoneer is a card that Granblue... Gosh, why am I messing up that word so much? Is a card that Granblue desperately needed because it gives them a little bit of field control on their opponent, which is something I think every deck should have at least a little bit of. Maybe that's just the Kagero player in me talking, but whenever he is called to the field, if he is called to the field through the drop zone, keep that in mind, you may make him hollow. If you do make him hollow, Counterblast 1, you destroy any rear guard on your opponent's field, and then you get to draw 1 card. So it is really good. So if your opponent has, if you're playing against Aquaforce, you can kill off that Tidal Assault. If you're playing against Sanctuary Blaster, you can kill off their Knighted Twin Sword or that Flogel they have on the field. It can just give you a spot-on thing that you want to get rid of, so you don't have to deal with it, and just go bye. So he's a good 2 of, in my opinion. For the grade 3s, we play 4 copies of Granblue's newest leader, 4 copies of Vampire Princess of Night Fog, Night Rose. So, Night Rose is our stride break, I guess you could say, for the deck. Her ability is Generation Break 2. When your rear guard is put into the drop zone, you may send the top 3 cards of your deck to the drop zone. If you do, you may call that card to the rear guard. So if your opponent kills one of your rear guards, you can bring it right back, which you can abuse with Skeleton Cannoneer pretty evilly. If your opponent doesn't know that combo, it can really sneak up and bite him. But mainly the reason you want her is for her stride skill. During your turn, when your G unit strides, you may counterblast 1. If you do, choose up to 1 card from your drop zone, call it to rear guard, and that unit gets plus 2,000 power until the end of turn, which normally you're going to be bringing back Negro Lazy and then kicking Negro Lazy's skill off to call something else out and just start building your columns and building the undead pirates. So that's fun. Zombies. Then we play 2 copies of... Oh boy, here it comes. 2 copies of Ice Prisoner, Hades Emperor Cocytus Reverse. Yeah, go ahead. I don't really... I didn't know what to put as the backup grade 3 for this deck. Because I haven't played Granblue before. And this right here is a limit break unit, so if your opponent is wanting to be cute and not call any... that they don't want to ride their grade 3 because they don't want you to stride, you can at least have access to limit break. Some people play the break ride, but the break ride's just a little slow for me. Keep in mind, he's rarely ever going to be rode. I guess you could put Nightstorm in here. He's a common from the new set, which is pretty decent. Maybe I'll do that, but he's only in here as a backup. That's it. But just for argument's sake, his ability is Limit Break. Choose one Granblue. Choose one of your Granblue units on the board and lock it. Then choose a Granblue from your drop zone and call it to the rear guard, and that unit gains plus 3,000 power. And you have to send the top 3 cards of your deck to the drop zone. So it gets you a free call. So it's there. And then our main grade 3 that we'll be bringing back as an attack weapon is 2 copies of Ghoul Dragon, Gas Dragon, otherwise known as the worst triple rare in the set. This card could have been a double rare and it would have been fine. But Ghoul Gas Dragon is so good. And, God help you if you ride it, but, it happens. His ability is Generation Break 1. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, which is sending the top 2 cards of your deck to the drop zone, this unit gets plus 3,000 power until the end of that battle. Then, if this unit is hollowed, he gains an additional 5,000 power, so he'll be 19 by himself. If you bring him out through Night Rose's skill, he's 21. And then he has a second ability, which you'll probably never use, but it's an act ability from the drop zone. Counterblast 1 and choose one of your grade 2 or greater rear guards, retire it, and then call this unit to the rear guards. So, it's okay. You basically bring this out just because it will be 19 by itself, and then stacking triggers onto it, you're just going to make one big column for your opponent to deal with. And then if you have, say, where is he? Negro Bone behind it, you're just going to use Negro Bone's skill, crack it off, and then go get something else and attack him again. So, fun never ends. So, this deck is really good at creating multiple attacks. Just kind of like Sanctuary Blaster in a way, but just different. Okay, for our Stride Zone, or G-Zone, or whatever you want to call it. We play one copy of Ghosty Great King Obadiah, but I call him King Boo because he looks like King Boo, damn it. So this is generally what we're going to stride into first. His ability is, when he is placed on the Vanguard circle, you may search your deck, search for any 3 units, and place them in the drop zone. Then, if 2 of the units you sent to the drop zone with his effect have the Hollow ability, you may superior call 1 grade 1 or less Ghosty Brothers card from the drop zone. So generally what you're going to see happen is your opponent is going to discard the Stride Fodder, which is Tommy the Ghosty Brothers, in order to stride. They'll bring out King Boo, they'll ditch some cards, and then they'll call the Ghosty Brothers back from the drop zone. So, not only are you getting to send the units to the drop zone that you want to send to the drop zone, you're also getting a free booster out of it. So, and it's absolutely no cost, which is even better. So, hooray. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Pirate King of the Abyss, Blueheart. Such a underrated card, in my opinion. Blueheart skill is an act ability. Once per turn, you may counterblast 1, choose 2 cards from your drop zone, and call them to separate rear guards with units in them. The reason I like him is because if you don't necessarily have the field you want to go into Night Rose, you can use him to set up your field so the next turn you are ready. And he's just a good, solid card. He's you can use him just to build a field presence, essentially. For another card we play is 1 copy of Pirate King of the Secret Schemes, Bandit Rum. I only play 1 of this card because, to be real honest, he's really not that good. And I don't have another copy of Blueheart. And some people say, well, then just play another King Boo, but you really only need 1 King Boo because you're only going to go into him once. And, Bandit Rummy came out of the trial deck, so he's not meant to be the greatest card out there, but if his attack does hit, you get to select 1 card from your drop zone, call it to rear guard, and it will gain 2,000 power. So it's something, but it's not necessarily the best card out there. Now, for our main Stride unit, we're going to be playing 4 copies of Miss Phantasm Pirate King Night Rose. And I was able to acquire 1 SP, which I really, really like how this card looks. It's definitely a plus for Granblue because this card is absolutely beautiful. Night Rose's skill, Generation Break 2. When this unit attacks, you may counterblast 2 and choose a face-down card called Miss Phantasm Pirate King Night Rose from your G-Zone and turn it face up. if you do, choose up to 2 cards from your drop zone and call them to rear guards in different rows. So you're just going to get more attacks off. So yay. Which is what this deck is shooting for. When the 16-card G-Zone comes around, a lot of people are asking, you know, what is Granblue going to really have? The best thing I can tell you to do is mix Night Rose with the 7 Seas variant. It can be done. Yes, it can be done. I have seen it work. My friend Zane, that is his build. He mixes the Night Rose variant with the 7 Seas variant. It's actually pretty cool. Keep in mind the Night Rose Stride does not, repeat, it does not need a Night Rose heart. So that makes it very splashable in 7 Seas. Now, unfortunately, the 7 Seas Stride, you do need a 7 Seas heart. That's why you can't play it in this variant. But it can be done. If you guys would like to see a 7 Seas Night Rose variant mixed, you can put down in the comment section below that'd be something you'd want to see, and I will try and see if I can't make that work. So anyway, guys, that is pretty much it. That is my take on Granblue. I really enjoy playing the deck. It's pretty fun to play. It's pretty insane how many attacks that this deck can push now. It went from a deck that was pretty much just a novelty to a deck that is absolutely insane of how popular it got very fast. True, it got a lot of bandwagoners, but it's like I said at the beginning of this video, it is so nice to see this deck finally get the appreciation it deserves, and I'm really happy for my friend Zane especially, because I know how excited he was when he saw his beloved Granblue clan get more support, and because anybody that has ever met Zane before will tell you he is an absolute pirate fanatic. So the fact that his Granblue pirates got more support, it tickled his heart, I'm sure. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. So if you have any questions or opinions you would like to share, I'm always open to hearing your guys' thoughts. In fact, I love hearing your guys' thoughts. So please, in the comment section below, share with me anything that you would like to, or ask questions, or anything that you want. Please just feel free to put that down there. I read every single one of your comments, so please leave me some comments. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up this video, and I will see you next time.